From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up? It's Monday, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And you know it's Monday, so you know who I got with me today, and he's red hot right now in the NFL. If you guys been watching the NFL Bet Exchange and everything like that, and it's none other than the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. Jeff, what's going on? How's everything going, brother?
As you said, the NFL Bet Exchange couldn't be hotter. As you said, behind the scenes, it had an amazing second half to the games. Even sprinkled the little Ravens money line to end the night last night. Our VIPs at East Coast Sports Investors this week went 11-2. We were rolling in baseball as well. Good time to be alive. Good time to be a part of the family. And super stoked it's Monday. Woke up this morning. Feet hit the ground. I knew I'd be here this afternoon. All is well, my brother.
Well, you know, it's the fourth quarter. You know, that's when we do our best work. Fourth quarter of the year.
We're like tea bags. You know, we only get working when we're in hot water. It's showtime. It's go time. Let's go.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead, man. I know we want to talk Chiefs Ravens because I think by far that was the game of the year. I'm going to tell you a funny story about that game, what happened to me last night when I was watching it. But let's talk about this 2-0 start that a lot of people didn't see coming. But if you know the NFL and you know how the expectations of certain teams, it shouldn't be a big surprise to you. The Raiders came in with big expectations this year. They put a lot of good pressure on John Gruden. They put a lot of pressure on Derek Carr to get them moving forward, to stop the 7-9s and the 8-8 seasons and get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because now the stadium has been built. Now you have fans in there. There is no more real excuses anymore because now you have everything intact. And I think that the Raiders have finally turned the corner in a sense when it comes to defense. And that's the biggest reason why the Raiders have been so good these last 2 weeks and been able to pull out these games as well, too, against two teams that a lot of people had the Raiders losing to. You know, when you get to, you know how these guys are, Jeff, they do the whole prediction of the season and they'll have your losses and wins on who you should win against and who you probably lose against. But the Raiders and Steelers, it was funny. Nobody wanted to mention this, but the Raiders have won the last 3 out of 4 games against the Steelers as well, too. Now 4 out of 5. So it's not like it was a big surprise that they beat them because the Steelers showed us all yesterday that they have a redundant way of calling plays. And I just think that the days of Big Ben are just really, really it's really the end. And a lot of people had to really just come to grips with that. He's not in shape the way that Tom Brady's in shape. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, a lot of those throws aren't stepped into. You know, he's just trying to be a big Burrow. So at the end of the day, the Raiders won a big game, but is it true that the Steelers are declining as well, too? I think they are, Jeff.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise that the Raiders won last night. We talked about this on our show earlier in the week. Excuse me. If my memory served me correct, the Raiders, after a Sunday night win against the Saints, traveled cross country to Kansas City as 11-point underdogs and won that game outright. And so the late game in the week, the west to east, the early time frame doesn't bother this team. And as a Steeler fan that started the season last year 11-0, and then just they couldn't throw the ball over 20 yards. It was a dink and dunk fest. Teams caught up to it. The only way the Steelers are going to do anything this year is with their defense. And yes, Big Ben, I don't understand bringing him back. Well, I do, trying to save the year, but they have no one behind him ready to go. Duck's not the answer. Okay. So what are they going to do? They bring in Najee Harris. They have solid weapons on the outside. They have two serviceable tight ends, a good coach, and a defense ready to roll. It's all in Big Ben's hands. And listen, if they don't figure it out soon, they're going to get really lost in the shuffle there in this division, especially.
And now, you know what? At the end of the day, I know a lot of people. I know Antonio Brown had to be the sacrifice somewhat, but he did expose a lot of things in that locker room we never knew before, or we assumed, but then it finally came out as actual truth. You know what I mean? And I think that Antonio Brown pretty much told us all a few years ago when he had his problems with Tomlin and Roethlisberger both, that this franchise was going in a direction where mediocrity is you're heading toward you're 5 miles away from mediocrity. And I really truly feel like at the end of the day, if the Steelers are not making the playoffs this year, they'll ask Big Ben to remove himself, to retire, or they won't be bringing him back. And I think that, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I know it just would sound dumb at this point, but Mike Tomlin could be on the hot seat as well too, because what has he done for me lately? Think about that part. But Bill Cowher got away with it as well too. You know what I mean? For a very long time. And Bill Cowher missed the playoffs as well a few times and had bad teams as well. So, you know, and they stuck around with that. Pittsburgh's not really quick to pull the head coach out like that. But just think about it. Tomlin is there. The Pittsburgh writers and Pittsburgh news radio and all that stuff, they've been fed up with him for the last 5 years. So, you know, what do you think about that?
I'll go a step further. The decline started when Le'Veon Bell left. Okay. That was the heart and soul of this team. Okay. He's never been the same, and the team's still been looking to replace him. Najee Harris is supposed to be the next Le'Veon Bell. Okay. As it comes to coaches, that's the one thing the Steelers don't do, is they don't get rid of coaches. And I think, listen, you have to really think, if we replace Tomlin, who we bringing in? I don't think Tomlin's the problem. I think it all starts with Big Ben, and he's had some off the field issues. Again, he doesn't come into shape. You know, he's begging to restructure the contract, so he did come back. If they had someone in place, I think they would have made the move. Listen, a Tyrod Taylor type, someone that can manufacture and run the offense and not make mistakes, is the quarterback they're looking. They have the weapons outside to stretch the field. They don't have a quarterback that can throw them the ball anymore. So the only way this team moves forward is by the defense. And we're going to see, listen, you got a Ravens team that was a 55-yard field goal away from being 2-0. Okay. Cincinnati's 1-1. Okay. Burrows did not look good, obviously, yesterday in stretches. My point is they're in for a dogfight, no pun intended, with the Browns here. So it's either put up or shut up, and Big Ben's going to figure this thing out, or they're in deep, deep trouble.
And it's crazy today that we're saying that teams in the AFC North had to deal with the Browns, and the Browns were impressive yesterday. They got down, but in other Browns games in the past, that would have been a Houston win. As soon as they went down 7 points, it'd have been a turnover here, it'd have been a mistake there, and boom. Next thing you know, the game has gotten away from you. They breathed a little. They breathed yesterday, and they took care of their business at the end of the day. They understand exactly what it takes for them to win the game. That's the run game. It's that simple. And Baker Mayfield had a great game when it came down to it. One miss was an interception, and the other miss was some overthrow that he had to do so he wouldn't get sacked. 19 for 21, even though the yardage didn't show up the way that it showed up for Derek Carr with the 382 yesterday, still, that was a damn good managed game. And then you got a whole lot from the run game as well, too. Hunt and Chubb were able to supply 150 plus yards. And then Dimitri Felton is going to probably be their X factor as well too. After that big spin move, he was an absolute beast at UCLA, but UCLA was so bad, you're not going to get national attention for what you're doing. You know what I mean? But the kid is really good. So there's a lot of things working out with them. But let me stay on the Raiders real quick. The Henry Ruggs experiment to me has worked in a sense, but it needs more. And every time I see him score one of these 64, 70-yard touchdowns, I say to myself, this should be every game. Almost. He should be their Tyreek Hill. And I don't know how that's not working as of yet, but it seems every time he makes a big catch for a long yardage or a touchdown or something, the Raiders win that game. Easily. And I think
what I like what Carr's doing though is he's spreading the ball around. So you can't focus on Ruggs to the mailbox. He's getting a nice rapport with Brian Edwards, who had a bad first year. He's stepping it up this year. He loves Renfro. Who won the game? Who got the game scoring touchdown week 1? Zay Jones. Right. We know Waller's uncoverable. So when teams try to double team Waller, it's going to open up the lanes. And Carr's finally getting some of his credit, banged up again. So again, they're going to go as far as Carr and the defense goes. Okay, so going back to the 2 weeks in and staying in this Steelers approach here, listen, the eye test, okay? If Kansas City's the team to beat, they cannot stop a nosebleed when it comes to the run. What do the Ravens do? They run the ball. What do the Browns do? They run the ball. All of a sudden, Buffalo's running the crap out of the ball. So my point is the AFC is wide open. Get the wins, get them early. Raiders 2-0, perfect example. You can't have a hiccup, which the numbers are showing me, even without Tua, it might be a hiccup coming.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk more about that on Thursday when we preview that game. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next game in my neck of the woods as well too. It was an absolute thriller at SoFi yesterday afternoon. And of course, it came on the hand of the Chargers. The Chargers are going to have, one thing about the Chargers, I wish I was in their marketing department. The one selling point they can make is that you're not going to go home without knowing that you were at an exciting football game. It seems like every Charger game at home is going to be decided by 3 points or less. It's been like that for the whole time they've been in Los Angeles, literally. And yesterday was another scenario like that. And then the Chargers lose late. They get touchdowns called back as well, too. And then I tell myself, was it really the coach? Or is it you guys? Seriously. This has gotten 2 coaches fired because they're mad at the head coach about what the decision making of the head coach. But the team keeps failing the same exact way. Is it the coach? Is it the team? Or is it the culture?
I know this, Pops. If Anthony Lynn was still coaching, that's who we'd be talking about right now. It was the coach. Okay. My 2 cents watching this game, even though the Chargers had 2 touchdowns called back, okay, Herbert was awful. He can make every throw. He was awful. Dallas D played well. I think they were playing uptight. They were allowed to play uptight. I think more the Chargers lost this game than Dallas did win. I did see something as well where, listen, if I'm Dallas, I'm giving Pollard the ball a lot more than I am maybe moving forward. He looks so much faster than Zeke did. And again, we'll talk about that on Thursday. But overall, again, this is a shootout, and it ends 2017. They set up a 56, 58-yarder. He drilled it dead center. Great win for the Cowboys, especially after the loss to the Bucs. Now they come home to their home opener where they should be all lathered up. But again, I think it was more on the Chargers. Just again, mistakes, penalties. Not a pretty game if you're a Charger fan.
Agreed. And I think that honestly, it was a great way to open up SoFi for Dallas Cowboy fans, Dallas Cowboys organization, because literally The Cowboys brought the whole team, the whole franchise out to Los Angeles for this game. And they were saying, oh, because it's the SoFi game. No, it's because you train down the street and you feel like you have some real estate in LA. And, pretty much this is why I'm starting not to be able to stand Jerry Jones in a sense as well, too. He made it look like it was his home game, and he helped them create that stadium and all that good stuff. All he did was be a nuisance in the way of that stadium. You know what I mean? Because everybody in Los Angeles wanted the Raiders. They didn't want the Chargers, and he was the one that was pounding the table for the Chargers to come to Los Angeles. So, that's why he was up there so giddy and happy about it, because he knew he had a victim. He's not going to get the same response if that was a Raider game, honestly, in LA. He literally 70% of the crowd were Cowboys fans, because when they won the game, it was like they had just won the game at AT&T Stadium. You know what I mean? And this is all in the plans, dude. So he's very happy that, he has some footmark here in the LA market and everything like that. And they got themselves a good win. But all in all, though, that game, they did get lucky. You know what I mean? The Chargers should have been better than that. But the Chargers kept making the same silly mistakes that they always make. Period, point blank. And I know everybody likes to compare them to the Clippers and all this good stuff. No, they're just the Chargers of the NFL. They're just the Chargers. The Chargers have been doing this last 50 years. So it is what it is at the end of the day, Jeff.
100% agree. And again, a lot of that on the NFL, there were a handful of games that were just ugly to watch, the penalties. And listen, I'm not a referee. Blame the referees. The instant replay, all that BS. Okay, the taunting calls got to go. I mean, enough's enough. These guys are supposed to be entertainers too. And you make a great stick and you get up and you pump your chest. Yeah, the guy's right there on the ground and you get up and pump your chest. That's what they do. I mean, move on from that. I mean, like I said, sloppy. The 4 p.m. games were supposed to be the varsity compared to the 1 o'clock games, and this game didn't live up to the billing in my eyes.
Well, you know what? At one point, we had all 4 games close. We can say the same thing about the early morning games. Those games were runaways, a lot of them. So the Rams won a game. The Rams should have won that game by way more points, but they made some mistakes as they went along. All right, so let's move on. Talk about the game of the day. It was getting so much hype, and the Chiefs and Ravens may have played the game of the year yesterday, Jeff, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts?
I just was I loved it when Harbaugh walks onto the field and he looks straight into Lamar's eyes. Hey, Lamar, do you want to go for this? It reminded me of Bill when they were in Indy and they had a 4th and 2 on like their own 28. And they knew if they gave the ball back to Peyton, they weren't going to be able to stop him. So instead of relying on your defense that wasn't able to stop Mahomes, why not do what you do best and run the ball, get the first down? And that's what they did. It was a hell of a game. And I tell you what, it really shakes up the AFC. A lot of teams 1-1 now. Huge win for Baltimore. You could tell by the end of that game, the emotions from Harbaugh and Lamar. They finally got the monkey off their back. They beat Mahomes. They know they can beat Mahomes. And the rest is now history. Let's go play some football.
All right, but honestly, you're not going to be able to get away with the defense that the Chiefs been playing the whole season, dude. And you know that I'm going to get on them right now, dude. Last week, 29 points. This week, 36 points. And it looked like you had no answers to get those stops. You came up with some great sacks and everything with Cleveland at the end. You know what I mean? And then you got a bogus pick because Baker put too much pressure on himself. But then you dealt with a quarterback that's a little bit different from Baker. Lamar Jackson uses his feet. And Lamar Jackson just literally turned that into a Madden game last night at the end. You know what I mean? Where you get down 5 points. I'm not worried about anything because I know who I have. I don't have to pass. I can run the ball 40 yards down the field. They hit you with a deceptive situation. And they kept talking so much about Lamar not being able to beat Patrick Mahomes, Lamar being 0-3 against him, blah, 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 blah. But what they had to understand is Lamar is not playing against Patrick Mahomes. He's playing against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And their defense is terrible. And that's why, they were able. So that's how I see it, Jeff.
No, they got 15 weeks to figure out. They can't stop the run. Right now, the Chiefs cannot stop the run. Even though Honey Badger was back, he gets a pick six to start the game. He gets another interception. The point of the matter is neither one of those defenses are going to win an AFC championship or a Super Bowl. That's why right now, if I was ranking the teams in the AFC right now, my two top teams right now are Cleveland and Buffalo, because Buffalo can stop a nosebleed. They can play defense. Listen, they had a bad half. They had against the Steeler team, okay? That block punt turned the whole game around. They walked into Miami. Granted, Tua got knocked out in the first quarter, okay? But the point is they got a mobile quarterback. They can run, they can pass, and they can play defense. The most dangerous team right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the most dangerous team right now, both sides of the ball, is the Browns. Listen, if Baker can throw the ball 15 to 20 times and they can run Chubb and Hunt all day, you're not going to beat them. You will not beat the Browns right now. And I also say the same thing as Buffalo. I know the Raiders are playing well right now. They have issues on defense. But I'm saying both sides of the ball right now, I will say the Browns right now and the Bills are the two dangerous teams right now.
Well, the Browns, and they also have two great bookends on the Browns as well, too. Garrett and Clowney, that's dangerous right there, especially when you play in December. You know what I mean? Because these guys, they're not even revved up yet. They're still getting into the groove of things. But when they did that sack on Mahomes, that was signs of the future right there. You feel bad for, opposing teams because, hey, you got to deal with these guys, man, and they're gonna expose your tackles and everybody. So that's crazy that we are even talking like this right now. But the Browns have turned the corner, and that was shown yesterday, big time. Now, the Chiefs being the darlings and the most unbeatable team and all this other stuff, I think we need to stop that talk for now because you can beat Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't play defense, okay? Get a few stops here and there, and then you're able to stop him late, you should win the game. It's that simple. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm not a believer in the Chiefs being the end-all, be-all of the NFL. Neither the Tampa, because Tom Brady is balling now. But let's talk in late November, early December, when that knee is starting to kind of act up a little bit. Because, Jeff, I'm 37, and look, I wake up with aches and pains, and it's so I can't imagine Tommy, a guy who's getting hit by 300-pound linemen, being a spring chicken December 1st. It just doesn't work out like that.
We'll see how he feels Monday morning after playing Donald for a full 60 minutes.
All right. And that's a good note to go ahead and take a commercial with. All right. So you guys stay tuned. This is, hold on. We'll talk about it now. We don't want to infuse into baseball, but you know what? We'll talk about it after we get done with the commercial. We used up a lot of time. So Yeah, Scott. When we get back, we're gonna have our Monday Night Football preview, and we're gonna go ahead and talk some baseball as well too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Donna Cape God himself, Mr. Chef Dawson.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
Man, me and Roy Jones Jr. sure had some shiny foreheads in that picture. Shiny foreheads. Every time I see that, like Roy Jones. And it was crazy because, usually a Roy Jones, you would think that a million people would just jump out. But luckily enough, we were at the Cosmo that day. It wasn't a big room of people. And they were kind of used to Roy being around. So that's why everything was real fun with Roy that day. But then when I saw him in Dallas, bro, it was crazy. He comes out the hotel. It's like 100 people. Roy. Boxing fans are probably the most rabid fans of all fans, dude. Like literally, sign my kid. All right, let's talk about Monday Night Football. We got a good old Monday Night Football game too. I feel bad for the Lions. They always seem to have to be matched up with the Packers in Lambeau. I feel like they always set it up as like a get-over game for the Packers. But I don't trust the team that just got beat by 35 points with an 11-point spread, Jeff. I just can't do that.
It's funny. I remember a few years ago that the Packers lost to the Bears at home, and in come the Lonely Lions afterward, and the next week, and everyone said there's no way that the Packers lose 2 straight home games. And they had won like 10 or 11 straight at home against the Lions, and in comes Stafford down early and rallied the troops and won the game outright. Again, everyone's betting on the come tonight. Everyone's expecting Rodgers just to click his heels. It's going to be that offense that's going to put up 30, 35. It's going to be, the Adams and Rodgers show, Aaron Jones show, and Goff's going to come in and lay an egg. It's not Stafford, but it's Goff. And yes, the Lions got down early at home to the Niners, but they rallied the troops and they actually covered the game, and they had a chance to tie the game with back-to-back touchdowns and 2-point conversions. So I mean, if you're a numbers guy, the game looks like a 30-17, maybe 31-17. But, listen, I wouldn't be running to the window and playing Packers minus the 650 money line and expect, that they're going to win with their eyes closed, because I don't know where Rodgers is in his head right now. I have no idea. And I don't think even Lambeau knows where he is. So we'll see. Put it out on the field, see how it turns out. Yes, do I expect the Packers to win? Yeah, I do. But do I expect them to cover the 11 with their eyes closed? Not with my money.
Well, you know what? I see a team that scored 33 points last week against a really, really, really good defense. Then I saw a team that scored 3 points against a team that's just a good defense. You know what I mean? Because the Niners are elite when it comes to defense. We both noticed. Nick Bosa, by far, one of the best pass rushers in the league. And then they got a great secondary there in San Francisco as well, too. And then they got the highest paid linebacker in the league as well, too. So, they get 33 dropped on them. Name anybody on other than Cam on that Saints defense that really just, moves the ticker other than Malcolm Jenkins. You know what I mean? So, we look at that, and I know that, it was an emotional win for the Saints. The Saints lost yesterday simply because that's a divisional game. This team knows a lot about you, and things just didn't start off well, and that's James Winston's kryptonite playing against the Panthers. So it is what it is. Now, in this situation today, I think Goff goes back into Lambeau and has a good day, Jeff. I'm not going to say they win, but this game is going to be much closer than it looks on paper.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers just mailed it in. I mean, it reminded me of last year's Bucks game. At the Bucks, up 10-0, driving, pick six, 31 answered by the Bucks. Thanks for playing. And they showed no emotion. He showed no emotion. Again, it's everyone's fault, but Rodgers' fault. So, again, the key to Detroit is play a little keep away, get Goff going. He's a rhythm passer. Use Swift. Hey, no one's talking about this. It's the Jamal Williams revenge game, too. He's coming back to Lambeau with a chip on his shoulder. So, again, ground and pound, pick your spots, stay close, and then anything can happen.
All right, Jeff. Agreed. All right, so let's go jump into this real quick. We had ourselves a pretty good weekend this weekend. If you're a Dodger enthusiast, and I always got to talk Blue Crew Daily with you as well too, Jeff, why I got you on the show. But you know what? We're not going to get into catching the Giants today because I'm tired of having that talk. What we're going to talk about today is that the Dodgers made a significant move on who is going to probably play them if there is a wild card with them. It looks like the Cardinals are going to wind up being the team, Jeff. And it's no surprise here. I thought they could win the division this year. And they showed that, hey, we're the veteran horse here in the race. We ain't got to worry about being at the pace. Because when we catch up with you, we'll catch up with you. Now, were you able to see Once Upon a Time in Queens? I didn't know that they were that big of a burden to the Mets, but I said, you know what? The Cardinals don't get enough props for that, but they've always been kind of like the Yankees of the National League over the last 50 years. You know what I mean? Where you got to go through the Cardinals to be somebody. You know what I mean? And, it's pretty good to see that they're back into the hunt and everything like that. Dodgers take 2 out of 3 this weekend. They're able to get themselves one game back from the Giants as well, too. There can't be a tiebreaker game because the Giants own the tiebreaker. So this is an important, significant week for the Dodgers because this is almost like the last 2 weeks. This is the last 2 weeks of the season. Am I right, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay, so next week, there's only going to be so many games during the week. So this is the final week of the season. So these 7 days, these 7 games are going to be very important. 6 or 7 games, don't matter. But these games are going to be very important. And you tell yourself, who are the Dodgers playing and who are the Giants playing? Everything will probably favor the Giants when it comes to winning outright. But I think that they're getting tired, Jeff, to be honest with you. And this ain't the good time to get tired.
Listen, you can mail this one in right now. We can timestamp it. Wild card game, Cardinals versus Dodgers. It's going to be Wainwright versus Max. You're going to get it all set up. Max has been unhittable. He's your Cy Young winner this year in the NL. And go get him. The under over will be 5.5. And the first 1 to 3 wins the wild card game.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. But so we don't have to sit on this topic for long because I know that we're moving. So let's just get into these games real quick. This game's a little irrelevant because you got the White Sox and the Tigers going at it. But this has been a thorn in the White Sox side all season, the Tigers. So this could be a possible upset, but I think the scoreboard is the better look here. You got Rodon on the mound today. And, Jeff, real quick, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, but maybe a little issue with the weather. Rondon versus Manning. Manning's been hot and cold. We've been eyeing this game for a little while. The only lean that we would have would be Rondon minus a half run line in the first 5. You're looking at a minus 140 price there. Under over there, probably around 4.5 in the first 5. So you're hoping it's about, the Tigers can get at least 3 in the first 5 to push that one across. But it's a big public play, 70% bets, 97% monies coming in on the White Sox. And you're under over 41% of the bets, 99% of the money, all coming in on that over 9 as well. So just be careful. It's Monday. It's a new week, new start. Don't be pushing all in on the Tigers. I mean, on the White Sox here. And as we speak, Pops, just an FYI, Lester is now your starting pitcher for St. Louis versus Peralta in the St. Louis at Brewer game.
All right. So that's good to know that we have that there. And pretty much we move forward to our next game. And it's going to be a good one. That's at the Marlins. They're not playing for anything, Jeff, but pride. You know what I mean? So we got to have something to put on the ticket. So I'm putting it on the ticket, Jeff. And I'm going to miss me some damn baseball, though, Jeff, because I'm going to have to probably wait about another month before I can do my daily pick sixes and super high fives and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But we'll still have stuff in here. But that means that it's bets list time for college. Yeah. So, yeah. Once again, scoreboard watching game for me, Jeff. There's really nowhere to go here, in my opinion. I think that it's more of a watch game. You got Fetty and Luzardo going at it. So we'll see how it checks out. I like the scoreboard to watch this one as well.
They brought Luzardo over hoping, this is going to be the future for them. He's been awful. He has shown some better starts of late. I did see some sharper money coming in on the Nats early as they opened at 111 overnight. They've been pushed to 107 or 106. Now I'm starting to see some Miami money coming in where across the Vegas Strip, minus 105 and actually minus 108 at the Mirage. No, actually 110 at the Mirage and 108 at the Wynn. So some public money now trickling in on Miami. A tough game, tough spot. I don't know which Luzardo you're going to get. So I agree with you where grab some popcorn, some peanuts, some Cracker Jacks, and enjoy the game.
All right, let's get into our next game. This is probably the best game of the day on the schedule. That's going to be the Jays and the Rays. The Jays and the Rays. Blue Jays versus the Devil Rays. Yeah, I know they don't get called that anymore. The religious group made them stop doing that. But it looks like our boys have kind of fell back a little bit. The Blue Jays were making a pace towards this wild card situation, but now they're back and forth with the Yankees. But those wins over the Yankees at the stadium a few weeks back are huge right now because the Yankees are now a game and a half back. And I still think I can stand on my rock and say this, that the Yankees most likely will miss the playoffs by the last day of the season. Jeff, we talked about this months ago when they were putrid. Yeah, they had a nice little 13-game winning streak, but then they went back to being who the Yankees were all year. You know what I mean? A very inconsistent team. So there's a lot of things that the Yankees have to fix in the wintertime to become relevant World Series contender again. You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, the Yankees are good for the series this year. They play in the toughest division in baseball. They got 3 other teams that could possibly play in the World Series as well, too. Blue Jays is a big long shot because they're still young. But the Red Sox, we already know, they're a machine when they got core managing them. And then the Rays are probably the most underrated team in all of sports, not just baseball. And that team is special. And they showed that last year in the playoffs and in bits and parts of young, promising players. So they should be around for the next few seasons as a big threat in that not just the American League East, but in the American League itself. Jeff, your thoughts on this game?
I talked to Scott Webb, who lives in Tampa, about this game and who the hell is this guy Baz, and his AAA numbers are off the charts. It's like 4-1 strikeouts to walks. The guy doesn't give up runs. He's a fireballer. They just pluck him off trees. In comes Robbie Ray, who's 4-0 against the Rays. Probably should be your American League Cy Young winner. But think of this, Pops. The Bucks win the Super Bowl. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup, and here come the Rays. This town, city, whatever you want to call it, could host 3 championships this year alone, which would be, the city of champions. Who would have thought Tampa Bay could be the city of champions? But here, again, I like the hot bats here. I like Ray pushing for that Cy Young. I would lean Jays first 5, keep it away from the bullpen because this Rays team just doesn't quit. So hoping the Jays can steal it in the first 5 here. That's where ECSI leans today.
All right, there it is. It's going to be a great game today. And I look forward to it, Jeff, to be dead honest with you. Now, this is another really good game today in the National League. You got the Cards at the Brewers. You already called out the starting pitchers for this game as well, too. Cardinals are different, though, to me in this situation. They are chugging for that playoff spot. So them being plus 180 is big value to me, Jeff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Lester has turned the page. He couldn't get you or I out in the first half of the year. He comes over to St. Louis. He's drinking the juice. They always turn these pitches around. He's grinding out innings, keeping them in ball games. Value definitely on the Cards. They're rolling right now, and in comes the Brewers with Peralta, who, again, has had an amazing year. Can't lay the 225 with the Red Hot Birds. The value is with Lester and the Cards. You hope he can get you through 5 or 6, and then hope it, the bullpen, which again is another Milwaukee strong point. The Cards can find a way to, get 2-3 runs and try to peel off a win here, Pops.
All right, so we got ourselves a good game tonight. I really do like the way the game is setting up. I'm liking it so much, and I'm thinking that this is such a really good spot. I'm taking the Cardinals to win this game. I don't care who's pitching for them. I think that they just win the game out straight up because this is a division foe, and they have the extended scouting report. It's that simple. That's what I always say about these type of games. All right, we move forward. We have another divisional game. We got the Mariners and the A's, 2 teams that are scraping to get to that second spot. But that second spot is starting to become a dream because the Mariners were right there. The Mariners got the possibility of finishing second in the AL West. They might not get to the playoffs, but they did something that nobody expected them to do. I'm very proud of them for doing what they did because they got me an over ticket because they weren't supposed to win more than, I think, 70 games this year. They've won 80. And I told people to start the year off, I said, if they could get the young pitchers to just show up a little bit and get the vets to do what they do, then they should be a good team this season. They should be a good money team this year. And that's what they exactly been. I told you guys that the A's should have, the A's are very, very good. But I don't know what it is about the A's. I think it's just you being the small market guys and the try-hards and all that stuff. It always catches up with you. And that's what happened to them this year as well, too. But these guys still have things. They have games to play for. They could possibly get the wild card spot, either or. But it's going to be a lot of heavy lifting in this situation. But when it comes down to this game, I like the A's. I like the A's, and I like them a lot.
Me and Scotty on the Breakfast Bankroll talked about it. The Mariners struggling against lefty starters. We like Mania here, first 5, minus the half run, minus 120. I think your under over is rated 4, so we're hoping that the A's can, get 2 or 3 across, win the first 5 by at least the half run here. Obviously, no ties, but we think that the edge is with Mania and the first 5. Keep it away from the bullpen. The Mariners seem to strike early and actually late rather than early. So we're hoping A's first 5 here on the ECSI side tonight, Pops.
Well, Jeff wants to dip the toe tonight. That's what I call first fives and first half. I'm just going to dip the toe. I'm not going to jump all the way into the pool. All right.
Don't have to worry about the bridges, the back ends, the bullpens. We'll just get us our first 5, get in and get out.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's go ahead and hit the nightcap. The nightcap is going to be the Braves at the Diamondbacks. Braves coming off of a good weekend against the Giants, but they got to keep winning. They're only so far ahead of the Phillies right now. The Phillies are right there barking in their ear. 77 games, 76 games, 76 wins, 77 wins. These guys are on a very, very prophetic matchup come final 3 games of the season. I told you, Jeff, a month ago that when I saw how this was setting up and I looked at the schedules, I said the Phillies and the Braves are going to play for the NL East the last 3 games of the season. And that's going to be who the winner gets into the playoffs. It ain't going to be no winner gets in the playoffs, the other gets the wild card. No, this is really like the NL East Championship Series at the end of the year. And when I look at the schedule, it's going to be fun. But it's crazy because Philly's still 2 games back because they have 3 more losses than they do as well, too. So we'll see how it goes, Jeff. But I like the Diamondbacks to shake things up tonight. I like the +1.5 here.
Again, it's a game where the Braves need it. Diamondbacks seem to struggle early. Don't know what Mejia or No we're going to get. A game, if we were going to dabble, we would dabble again. First 5 minus the half run. Keep it away from the bullpens. We like to do that a lot. We've had great success the last 2.5, 3 months diving into these first 5s where we see an edge in the pitching matchup. If we get the right Noah, there is definitely an edge, but he has had some hiccups. So this Diamondback team puts a lot of guys on base. Do they get the clutch hit when needed? We're hoping the Braves, minus the hook, minus the 130, can get you across through the first 5, wipe our hands clean, move on, and watch the second half of the football game.
All right. So I'm adding in our Talkin Tickets stuff right now. So bear with me just a little bit, Jeff. 10 seconds. Because I got picks for both Monday Night Football and for the PrimeTime PK6. Man, I'm telling you though, Jeff, right now, this NFL season is about to be, like they said, this might be the greatest season ever. Because I just can't get over how many close games that we've had on the primetime situations. And they're exciting games, too. They're memorable games. And my funny story about last night was this. I'm going to be real quick. We're watching the game. I don't know if your cable has ever went out on you while you're watching the game. But the network went out. NBC. Like literally went out. If you weren't streaming it, you were in our area, it blacked out just all of a sudden. It didn't come back on for a while. And then you looked up and the alerts start coming in that Lamar Jackson has just scored that big touchdown. It looks like the Ravens are about to win the game. So there it is, Heidi Bowl, NBC once again. But hey, good win for the Ravens last night. Good win for Jeff too. All right, so PrimeTime PK6 tonight, Jeff. We got the under 9 with the White Sox and the Tigers, and then we also have the over 8 with the Nats and the Marlins tonight. We got the Blue Jays minus 130 tonight. Then we have the Cardinals plus 170 as the dog of the day, plus 1.5 on the Diamondbacks, and then minus 1.5 on the A's. What are your thoughts on that?
I like your swing there, especially 68-1. Obviously, you get a bump with Lester. The Rondon play, again, I think he's going to shut the Detroit Tiger offense down. Robbie Ray versus Tampa. We know we talked about that at length about the Cy Young winner. And again, as you put at the bottom of every page on those picks, single what you like. Have a hunch, bet a little of a bunch. You're getting 68, 69 to 1. Have some fun with it. Pay the rent, pay the mortgage, and move on.
Hey, that's what I like to hear. All right, so here goes the Monday Night Football, Jeff. Plus 11.5 Lions, over 24.5 first half. Lions money line plus 225 first quarter, though. First quarter, y'all. Not the game, first quarter. And Goff gets over 1.5 pass touchdowns. What you think of that, Dawson?
Like all of that, again, people are all in on the Green Bay and their offense this week. Goff has played in Lambeau. He knows what to expect there. He's got two great pass catching backs with Jamal and Swift. Both should be available. Again, keep it in tight, play a little, keep away from Aaron. Make him make the big plays down there. I like everything that you got there. I think you got a good swing there, Pops.
All right, so we're going to have some fun tonight. I look forward to Monday Night Football tonight. I hope you do too as well, Jeff. Even though it's not the spotlight type of game that we would like, because anything involving the Detroit Lions in primetime is just almost not watchable sometimes, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? No offense to my Detroit Lions fans. I love y'all. And I actually was one person that said that y'all be doing really good this year. So prove me right tonight, because if y'all go out there and lay another egg like you did against San Francisco, we're done. We're done. I tell people y'all the Rodney Dangerfield, you get no respect, but now you guys are acting like the poopy butthole of the NFL. I can't deal with that anymore. All right, so Jeff, final thoughts before we go.
Always an honor. I love our Monday sessions. Look forward to Thursday with the NFL Bet Exchange. Anyone not following us, just go on Twitter at EC Sports Invest. Follow us. We'll follow you right back. Any questions, go to our website at www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com or send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. We're here to answer any questions. We're here to educate, not entertain, but me and Pops always have a few laughs. Cash those tickets. Always stay with amongst your means. Stay, no over the ski tips. Remember, today's a new day. Tomorrow is as well. So love it, Pops. Let's cash some tickets and let's have some fun.
All right. My main man, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. I thank you so much for joining us on Mondays. I love talking to you on Mondays, especially with the NFL back. We do our own version of NFL Monday quarterback. So, it's all good. It's all good. All right. So as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. We'll be back. Me and Jeff will be back Thursday with the NFL Bet Exchange, and I'll be back tomorrow with the Primetime Angles Live talking about the fallout from Monday Night Football and talking some college football as well too, Jeff. So you guys make sure to tune in. And there it is. And we are this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and signing out with the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production